Well, Steven, there really is no reason to keep watching the World Cup, right?
Absolutely, there is. And
USA's out, so what's the point?
I could understand that for a lot of people. Um, but England, baby, that's why.
Yeah, I know, I
And
know.
every other team. Come on, these are some of the best athletes in the world. It's fun to watch.
But, as with everything with America, once something American is out, people tend to not care anymore.
No, these are facts, but there's no ties, Derek. There's no ties anymore because it's all knockout stages. So these are going to go to extra time and possibly penalties.
Hold on. Why can't every match not be a tie?
Um, it's a good question. I don't know because it's really exhausting. That's number
I
one.
understand that, but also, like, I treat these like, it's the playoffs.
I know, but it's exhausting. I think soccer is way more like tiresome than people give it credit for. The way that the best way that I heard it described was like just if you want to try and emulate what a soccer player goes through and why they, always go down so hard after a tackle. Well, I think I've actually told you this before when I was trying to convince you that soccer is a cool sport. Uh, but
Go ahead.
like, but
Retell.
if you want to emulate what soccer players go through, the first thing you do is run around the pitch 3 times, run around the edge
Hmm.
of the pitch, just jog, just go for a jog. Doesn't have to be a sprint, just a jog.
A light jog.
And then when you get to the midfield line, you run to the center of the field at a full sprint as hard as you can, and then you have one of your friends come in and slide tackle you. Like that's number one. And then do it again, but with 4 laps, and then do it again. Like it's a tiring sport. These guys are just running nonstop.
Yeah, looks easy.
Ronaldo was clocked at like I think he was averaging one year, not this year, but because he barely played this year, but he was averaging, I think, like running 9 miles per match or something,
Wow.
just by jogging, like 9 miles in like 90 minutes.
That is tiresome.
That's crazy.
That is.
Anyway, yeah. But yeah, man, England's up there. I don't know. The US, whatever. Were you cheering them on? Were you rooting for them?
I'm not gonna lie and say I was. Listen, I understand patriotism and blah 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 blah. Look, I am not gonna be phony like the rest of these World Cup fans that just watch because America's in it. I find it kind of phony that every 4 years USA fans just go, yeah, let's go, America, yeah, let's go, kick their ass in the World Cup, and then don't watch a lick of soccer the rest of the year. So I will admit that while it was fun to watch and to listen, I'm not gonna act like I was a diehard or anything. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, like it was fun, but like it ran its course. USA is never really that good in soccer, and
Yep.
was it? I mean, honestly, was it that much of a surprise they beat Iran?
Oh no, no, they should have beat Iran. They were supposed to get through. Like if
Okay.
like,
But was it? What was it? Netherlands were a better team, right?
yo, yeah, yeah.
Even though they're freaky deaky Dutch, they're the better team.
Yeah, I mean, how many gold member jokes did you make as you were watching that?
I mean, all day Friday, that's all we did was. I don't speak freaky deaky Dutch, and
Yeah.
then from Seinfeld, have you seen that episode where it's George and Jerry at the beginning of the episode with mustaches going like, "What's the Netherlands? What are the Dutch?" Just going like back and forth. Um, I am from Holland. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was fun. But I'm not gonna like like as I said, Stephen. This is in kind of encroaching on my football time, my American football time, and I understand the World Cup is bigger than football globally, but I think it's kind of weird time of the year to do this.
Well, a lot of workers died in order for this World Cup to happen because they built these things at 120-degree weather in the summer.
Well,
Like that's why they moved it, is so that
I
players
completely
wouldn't
understand
die
that,
of heat
but
exhaustion.
yeah, and maybe you should think about then having it in Qatar in the first
Yeah.
place
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have it
because you
in
can't
the
drink beer.
man, you're going to be really hated in 2026 when it's in the U.S. That's when patriotism is going to be at an all-time high.
And a lot of people are going to pretend like they care about soccer. Welcome, everybody, to just your pregame show, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. Go ahead, Stephen. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a couple of things that I saw too. One from Friends where there's an episode where they're actually playing American football on Thanksgiving, and there's some random girl who's just watching them. So Joey and Chandler start to kind of fight over her a little bit, and she's Dutch, and then Chandler, when they're fighting for her or whatever, he's like, "Hey, Joey, where do Dutch people come from?" And then he's like, "Nice try." And he's like, "Look, the Netherlands is like this make-believe place where Peter Pan and Tinkerbell come from, okay?" And he's like telling her this, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop getting that one out of my head. But look, man, I'll say this about the U.S. because I've never been being in England was like the first team I've ever rooted for in my life. Like one of my earliest sports memories was when I cried in 1998 when David Beckham got sent off with a red card because he hit, I forgot what other team it was, but yeah, he just basically hit him in the nuts. Or no, he was on the ground and then he kicked him as they were getting up out of frustration. But anyway, when what's it called? When the U.S. are normally in the cup and everyone's cheering for them, I'm like, they're not even that good. So like, and then in 2010, they were actually pretty legit. But then like, you know, come 2014, whatever. And then like 2018, obviously they didn't qualify. They got a lot of young players out there. But I also wonder how many actually know like 7 of 11 of their starters are not even like based in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of them are just, you know, they're really young and they're really good players, but also they're players that wouldn't be able to make the big club for their original home countries. So like that's what they have. And they have some really good players and they're probably going to be pretty good in 2026. Like that's when the real heartbreak starts, is when you actually have a team with the expectations a lot higher and then you fall. Oh, that's the worst.
What city is it going to be located in 2026?
Oh, a lot of them. There's
so just all over the place?
Yeah. They got like, because they built, you know, they have like 12 stadiums in Qatar right now for all of these. So they're taking place at like 12 stadiums, Levi's being one of them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they always hold.
Yeah,
they always hold the big soccer matches at Levi's.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun in 4 years, but I'm not gonna pretend like I know anything that's going on.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, so England versus Senegal today at 11 o'clock. So you'll be preoccupied between football and football. So you nervous?
Of course I am.
But
terrified.
Is England considered the better team?
No, wait. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking already of the next game because I'm more nervous.
So you're already thinking about the next game. I see. So you're that confident.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident they're going to get past Senegal. If they don't, that'd be a massive disappointment. But the next match, they're probably going to be facing France. So, and they're currently leading Poland 1-0.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. So if they face France, France are pretty damn good.
Well, best of luck to you, Stephen. Hopefully
England
prevails.
Thank you, Derek. I know you can't wait till this is over. It'll all be over soon. Don't you worry now. It will all be over soon.
No. Listen, I welcome all World Cup festivities, but I kind of roll my eyes at everybody just like pretending that they care about soccer when they really don't.
It's fair enough.
Let's get to things that we actually care about. Okay. Some American football. But before I do that, real quick, Stephen, we haven't talked about this in a while. Warriors, all good now? Can we stop freaking out about them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, let's move on then.
No, the thing I love though, like, can I just say, like the genius of Steve Kerr just to make like a slight tweak where it's like, hey, I'm going to put Draymond with these bench players at the beginning of the second and the fourth quarter, and it turns out that they're actually okay when Draymond's on the floor. And then it also speaks to actually how good of a player Draymond is too. Yep. I think it's pretty impressive. Last night's game was awesome. Andrew Wiggins was just going off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Who would have thought Steve Kerr knows how to coach?
I know, right?
But We'll question another guy if he can coach in a little bit here. But
Ooh.
Raiders, Steven, 2 in a row, 4-7 from 2-7. Great win against the Seattle Seahawks. Josh Jacobs, game for the ages, over 300 yards of total offense. I was really impressed with him catching passes out of the backfield. I've always wanted to see him do that, as he did it with Alabama.
Wasn't just even in the backfield. It was also like
Oh, yeah.
lining out wide and everywhere.
I think that's made him more of a dynamic player this season, and possibly will get him a bag, but as the kids say, and Deion Sanders says. We'll get to that a little later too. But yeah, Josh Jacobs, dare I say, I asked Alon this, dare I say had a Bo Jackson-like game with a run over the Seattle Seahawks, if you're familiar with the run back in 1987 over Brian Bosworth.
Yeah.
But just overall, like, he was a mix of Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen, running, catching, just a great performance, and I thought the Raiders played very well. Defense a little leaky. I gave my thoughts during the week, but Steven, your thoughts on the Raiders' 40-34 win in overtime over the Seahawks?
Yeah, the defense thing is just whatever. They're not that good. Like, that's it. They're just not that good, except Max Crosby,
Yes.
who you didn't reply to that one little Brian Baldinger clip that I sent you where he said that Max.
Oh,
Crosby,
I didn't reply.
Hang on.
How many texts do you not reply to me, Steven? Fine.
Hang on.
Go
It
ahead.
was a DM with a video, and it was 2.5 minutes
You get a
long.
lot of DMs. Man, what can I say?
And it said that Max Crosby is the best defender in the NFL by far. And then people were commenting, even putting pictures of like Nick Bosa, for example, and him saying not even close.
What do you think? Do you think he's the best defender in football?
I for sure think he's one of them. Like
That's fair to say.
I for sure will say he's like a top 3. Like I don't know, man. I've watched so much 49er football. I don't even think Nick Bosa is the best player on that defense. I think Fred Warner is just unbelievable.
Possibly.
But it's pick your poison, really. But as far as like an all-around game, like I haven't seen Crosby get beat in the run game. That dude doesn't get fooled. He has the instincts. He has the motor. He has the power. He can beat you with a variety of moves. He gets multiple sacks per game, which is something that Nick Bosa never does. And that's why he's not going to be close to winning Defensive Player of the Year unless he starts getting multi-sack games, which is, I think that's the issue that I saw last year too. Whenever the argument was made between TJ Watt, him, and Myles Garrett, I'm like, well, show me a game where he's had like 2 or 3 sacks. You can't. He's had like 1 sack every game. Sure, he closed out that game against the Saints, but anyway, Max Crosby's definitely proven it. Josh Jacobs, though, like, sheesh, man, this guy is just so damn good, and the offensive line is really good at actually blocking for the run, which is good.
Yep.
This guy is like, I don't know. I'm a big Raider fan, but I'm not one that has like this lasting memory like you do, where I remember seeing every single player. Like, this is probably the best running back that I've seen the Raiders have like in my life.
Whoa, Justin Fargas.
Justin Fargas?
It's obviously a joke, Steven.
Thank you. Okay, I'm glad. Whew.
Lamont Jordan.
I know, right? Lamont Jordan. Yeah. Like, oh my goodness, what other ones? Like Rock Cartwright.
Cartwright?
Yeah. But he's just so damn good. He's so powerful. And
Tyrone Wheatley.
He was awesome. I like that.
Yeah, he was. Him and Charlie Gardner. Anyway.
Yeah, Charlie Gardner too was great. But Josh Jacobs, like, out of all the running backs that I've seen, he's pretty much the best that I think the Raiders have had. And I mean, I don't know what's going to happen today in terms of the injuries. I don't know if he's just fooling people. I don't know what it is, but
he'll probably play.
He's kind of known for this, where he just, says he's injured before the game. It's going to be a game time decision. And then all of a sudden he just comes back and plays. So I don't know. I just think he's fantastic. And of course he won that game for the Raiders in that last game against the Seahawks.
But Derek Carr had some good throws. I thought that him and Devontae Adams are on point right now. I really haven't seen them have any miscommunications. Thought he had a great throw to Foster Moreau in the end zone. And earlier, it was a wide open pass, but the touchdown throw to Matt Collins. And I texted you that Derek Carr is one tough son of a bitch to get, rocked right in the ribs and then not miss a snap. Well, I think he did miss a snap, but he stayed in that game. And, since Derek Carr has cried, it's been the rallying cry for the Raiders. They're 2-0 since. And I said to Alon, it may be a little premature Um, I may have overreacted a couple weeks ago when they lost to the Colts, even though at the time it was devastating, just given the circumstances with Jeff Saturday being hired. And since then, Jeff Saturday has lost 2 games. And you texted me about his mismanagement over the Steelers game on Monday Night Football. And I hear what you said, Steven. You said that you kind of agree with him that in the moment you kind of don't, what exactly did you say?
I just think that we're absolutely going to get on him for that sort of thing and say, well, you're not a head coach and all this sort of stuff and all this sort of stuff. So if you don't have any head coaching experience, but the thing is, like, as fans, we do this thing where we say, like, oh man, I could have, like, you say something, you give like a take as if you would have done it in that moment. Like you said, call a timeout. Even I'm doing it from my TV. Like, what's he doing? Why isn't he doing it? It's like Jeff Saturday was a all-pro center who's run so many 2-minute drills with Peyton Manning. I think he'd know better than a lot of people when to call a timeout. And the fact that he made a mistake with a timeout as simple as that one, like that one, it feels like everybody like at home was probably saying, why don't you call a timeout? That was stupid.
Mhm.
Like everybody's saying it. I just think it kind of proved, I'm not trying to say like he's not at fault, because he absolutely is, but I think it's also proof that, these things are a lot harder than they seem.
They are, but also, you know, if you're going to be a head coach, that comes with the
For
territory
sure.
of clock management. And I didn't think it was egregious. I didn't think it was worse than anything than Nathaniel Hackett did this season. But even he said the next day, like I will commend Jeff Saturday for saying one thing on Sunday, saying, nah, we had all the time in the world, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day realizing, like, nah, I should have called the timeout. So some guys will, you know, never contradict themselves. They'll just stay in their wrong ways and just be like, hey, if you want to say it, if you want to see it that way, that's fine. Jeff Saturday owned up to it and said, I screwed up. Now, that being said, I don't know if he's going to remain the head coach. We'll see
Hang
what
on.
Jeff Saturday and the.
Cat's eating something that she shouldn't be eating. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, your cat, Mrs. Bigglesworth.
On the table right now. Yeah, like right in front of me. Hang on.
What is she eating?
I don't know.
Well, save that cat. Save that darn cat. But yeah, we will see what happens with Jeff Saturday. As far as the Raiders, if you can hear me, Steven, I was telling Alon on the midweek show. Oh, there she is, Mrs. Biggle. It's a good looking cat.
It is. She's adorable.
Yes, just
Hang
got
on.
her.
What's that?
Just got her last Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway.
As I was telling Alon, I think that this team is coming into its own offensively now. Now, I know you and I were texting back and forth about some fourth down decisions made by Josh McDaniels, and I hear you. You thought that maybe they should have gone for it when they were running the ball effectively to start the third quarter and to take the lead when the Seahawks had the lead 27-24. I'm old school and old in my thinking that when you have the opportunity to either take the lead or to tie the game, you should do so with a field goal. I understand the thinking of still going for it because they were running the ball very effectively. But in the end, they won the game. And I think that Josh McDaniels is actually doing a pretty good job in the last 2 weeks as far as his offensive approach. So we'll see what happens when they get Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller back. But I may have been a little overreactionary the last 2 weeks ago when they played the Colts and thinking about it. Is Josh McDaniels the guy for the job? I think he is. It just sucks that it took this long to get the team to go the way that he wanted. I'm not giving him a pass. It was a shitty start, 2-7, and there's been a lot of coaches this season that got to their teams in their first year and have them running well offensively. Mike McDaniel, we'll talk more about him later. Brian Dable, Kevin O'Connell, all doing well with their respective teams. It sucks, but I do think that Josh McDaniels is getting the Raiders going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say the offense is ready to work within each other. And you weren't overreacting. If you had an overreaction, then literally every single football fan had an overreaction. Come on, when you lose to an interim head coach Jeff Saturday and some 30-year-old play caller, like there's no
You keep saying the 30-year-old play caller like it was a bad thing.
I'm just saying he was like really young. Still, Still,
Sean McVay is still the youngest head coach in the league.
well, I'm just saying that, like, if you're a defensive coordinator or an offensive coordinator, whatever, you should be able to beat that.
Yes, considering the circumstances and Josh McDaniels turning down the Colts job, I'm sure that was embarrassing to him.
Yes, and um, and personally, I'm not seeing like anything too much. Like, I'm not seeing much different as far as like the play calls and everything. I'm just seeing Carr and Adams are getting more on the same page. Josh
Yeah.
Jacobs has been running out of his mind. Like, he's not been calling anything like too different, except the Jacobs catching passes thing,
Yes.
where it's like he had 7 receptions for like 64 yards or whatever.
He had as many receiving yards, 74, as Devontae Adams did.
Yeah. So, and the fourth down thing, they wouldn't have had to be in that situation if he would have just went for it on that fourth down. That's all I'm saying.
All right. No, I hear you. But in the end, they win the game, and it's all good. To your point earlier, Steven, about Max
He almost
Crosby.
didn't, though. Oh, my God.
Well, here's the deal. That 56-yard field goal missed by Daniel Carlson, I don't fault anybody. Daniel Carlson's got to make that field goal. But I thought, like, what are you going to do there? You got to punt and give it back to the Seahawks there? I thought it was the right call. Just unfortunate. And then the Raiders.
You go for it.
Well, I don't know if they were in a go for it situation there. What was the down and distance?
I mean, it's like you got 42 yards and you're in their territory.
Yeah, but you got to think about things reasonably. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see what the situation was so we get this right. Okay, so the Raiders and Seahawks in overtime, the 56-yard field goal. Okay, so it would have been a 4th and 2. Okay, yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made to go for it, but also you have a chance to. You're not going to win the game there, but you kind of put pressure on the Seahawks to respond. I mean, like, are you not going to trust Daniel Carlson with a 56-yard field goal? He's made those before.
That's the argument there. It's Daniel Carlson. Like, if it's Giorgio Tavecchio, then no, I'm saying I'm absolutely saying, yeah, what a nice guy. The nicest human being I've ever said. Like,
play bocce with him.
Yeah. I talked to him for like 20 minutes when you guys were talking to John Madden.
Yep.
I was like, Giorgio, you're the coolest. He was so nice. He was just like, I'm just happy to be here, man.
Good guy, that Giorgio.
Oh, he was so awesome. I'm never going to forget that interaction. Him and Carl Joseph, just a couple of classy guys. I'll say that.
Yes.
Class
Joseph, all the way.
Carl Joseph knows his pizza, man. I don't know if I'll ever be at like a little pizza buffet with an NFL player like I was with him. That was great. That was one of the greatest days of my life. Anyway,
we were at the Madden Mariucci bocce ball tournament when Jack Del Rio was head coach.
Yeah, Jack Del Rio held it, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. But you know what? The thing is, the best defender in the NFL came through. Got the sack on the third down.
Okay. So, yes, Max Crosby is having a fantastic season, all-pro, even though last year's all-pro selection was controversial against Nick Bosa amongst the people in the Niner organization. But, yes, Max Crosby's having a fantastic season. I don't know if he's Defensive Player of the Year, and he's equal parts great pass rush as he is a run stopper. But is he the best defender in football? I'm thoroughly impressed with what Micah Parsons is doing in Dallas. Yeah. I think that to have to play middle linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end, even his coverage ability is amazing. I would say I would put my money on him now as the best defender in all of football.
That's a good. Is he that good at stopping the run? I don't know. I really haven't watched Cowboys football that closely. Well, yeah. Nah.
And also, people forget. I know he's not statistically having one of the better seasons of his career, but Khalil Mack is fantastic pass rusher and run stopper. I know he doesn't put up the sacks like he did once back in the day.
He's getting older, Derek.
I know he's getting older, and a lot of people compare Khalil Mack to Max Crosby, obviously, because of the Raiders. I still put my money on Khalil Mack. I think he's a fantastic player. But Max Crosby in himself is fantastic, considering, what was he, a 5th-round pick?
4th.
4th-round pick? Best selection that Mike Mayock made.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, you could pick your poison. And Micah Parsons probably is going to win Defensive Player of the Year when it's all said and done, just because he plays for the Cowboys. And I don't know, there's something there too. And so
Most likely.
he probably will. And when you're playing on a defense like the Raiders, where they're giving up, like I don't even know. I haven't even looked how many points per game they're giving up, but they're probably giving up like 28.
Well, if the Raiders were a better team, there'd be an argument to be made. I just think because he's below 500. But people forget the Raiders in 2016 were a bad defense, and
For
Khalil
sure.
Mack won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it also goes to show, like, if you're going to talk about the best defenders in the NFL and talking about Defensive Player of the Year, Matthew Judon deserves to be in that conversation. He leads the league in sacks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I don't know, though.
Well, like, he at least deserves to be in the conversation, is what I'm saying. And his name's never mentioned because, well, he's on the Patriots, and no one really touts the Patriots as one of the better teams in the NFL.
But he's just breaking out now. I mean, he used to be in Baltimore, and yeah, I got to see what Matthew Judon's doing as far as forced fumbles and all that stuff.
Let's get Baldy on this show. Let's get Brian Baldinger. Let's get him on, and let's just have him just a quick, hey, Baldy, just 2 minutes. I'm a Raider guy. I think Max Crosby's fantastic. The Condor, as he calls him. Let's bring him on. Let's see. Just let him make his case.
You handle that, Steven, because Brian Baldinger's Odyssey, and I'll get Greg Cosell on, and we'll do a nice Brady Bunch split screen between Greg Cosell and Brian Baldinger. I know this is probably going to be crazy, but once upon a time, the Raiders were 2-7. They're 4-7 now. Let's go through their schedule a little bit, Steven. Just bear with me here.
Okay.
Today they play the Chargers, and they play the Chargers earlier this year, but they always give the Chargers fits, and they very well could win this game because it's a divisional matchup. Then next Thursday night, the Raiders play the Rams, and Matthew Stafford is shut down for the season. Aaron Donald most likely will not play. We'll see about that one, actually. Cooper Kupp out. The Rams are kind of packeted in for the rest of the season. Then the Raiders play a game against the New England Patriots, who are doing okay, but they're 6-6 right now, and it's time for Josh McDaniels to get revenge on Bill Belichick. Then Christmas Eve, the Raiders go to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's playing well, but that's a winnable game. And then the last 2 games of the year are tough against the Niners and Chiefs at home at Allegiant. Steven, could the Raiders actually have a really nice end of the season here?
I mean, they can, but God, I'd love to say all those would be wins, but you're going to be at Pittsburgh on Christmas Eve, like in the middle of the cold in Pittsburgh.
And how much Derek Carr plays well in the cold.
And that's a terrible game for him. Like, I kind of made the decision looking at it because, of course, I've looked at the schedule and, tried to think, maybe this could be something. Maybe they could squeak away in. But it seems like this is kind of the same case as last year, where if you're in the AFC, you got to get 10 wins in order to get in.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, you can win these next 5, but I don't want to bank on the Raiders beating the Niners or the Chiefs, not with the way the Niners are playing right now. Not with the way that the Chiefs are playing right now. Oh, and you're going to be at home versus Kansas City, which is going to be something. But I mean, sure, there's a chance, of course, but like, I'm not even thinking about playoffs. Really, I'm not. If they make the playoffs, that's great.
Yeah, playoffs is going to be difficult, but hear me out on this. I know we have this argument earlier weeks where we discussed a carryover from one season to another. And our example is last year when the Raiders were 10-7, and then this year, nothing close to that. But one thing that I keep forgetting about that I think is lost on people is that the Raiders fired their entire coaching staff. They went from a playoff team under Rich Bisaccia to then firing the whole coaching staff and coming back anew. That's difficult. And I would have more faith in them going into next season if they finish this season strong, just because they would retain the same coaching staff. I think they will go a long way with this team. More and more I think about it, I don't think it's beneficial whatsoever to go in a different direction quarterback-wise. I know Derek Carr has his struggles at times, but I do think he's the best quarterback for this team, and I don't really see any other answers in the offseason. You want to trade for, older Aaron Rodgers or sign older Tom Brady, who's 46 years old. They're not, I don't see them, Bryce Young is going to be the first player selected probably, and then CJ Stroud right after him. I don't like Will Levis or whatever his name is from Kentucky. I think that the best thing is to stay pat with Derek Carr, and I think that that would go a long way with the growth of this team in the future.
It's probably how it's going to be. I don't like he has absolutely willed this team and led this team. You can't just get rid of their emotional leader right now. Um, like he's a big part of it. And if they end up winning a lot of these games, and let's just say they end the season over 500 after starting the year the way that they did, like that'd be a very impressive thing. And it'd be hard for me to just say, well, you know what, Carr doesn't deserve to get back. You need to rebuild with a new quarterback. You got to yeah, I mean, you got to get rid of Devontae Adams' best friend. Like, there's no chance that I think that's going to happen. Devontae Adams seems pretty, like, despite the thing that happened in Kansas City, he seems like he's a pretty damn good teammate and pretty loyal to his people. So I think that Carr will stay for the next couple of years. Earlier on, I was like, how are you going to make a case for it? But as of late, he's played better. And I don't know, there's not much of an argument to be made there. They just need to, if they manage to win these games with that defense, then the offense has just been on an absolute tear because the defense is kind of proven they're just going to give up points. Like, I don't know what it is with them. Patrick Graham's not doing anything right now to kind of make a case for keeping his job. Like, I haven't really seen much on that. There haven't really been many questions about him as a defensive coordinator. Haven't seen
but it may be that the talent on the defense is just not that good.
There's also that, I think they're probably getting Nate Hobbs back today.
Yep, they are.
Denzel Perriman's a really good player. They've been playing with backup corners right now. I think Anthony Averett's on the IR, and then getting rid of, like, Abram was just a terrible pick. I wish they would have done something elsewhere. And then Trevon Merrick, I'll say this, made a couple of plays in that last game. Yeah, I'll give him some credit.
He's young. I mean, sometimes rookies have a pretty good first year because they're just playing off raw talent, and then they kind of get lost their second year. I still think there's time for him to grow. But yeah, I told Alon and you the last few weeks, I think you got to rebuild the defense. I think that was probably something that was overlooked this offseason. Like, they'll be fine. Chandler Jones, Max Crosby. Wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Chandler Jones thing. Chandler Jones actually has been getting to the quarterback. He's literally, you know what he is? He's Arden Key, but as a starter. Like, he's just getting to the quarterback, but not finishing.
But I think he's making too much money to justify the fact that he only has a half a sack on the season. It may just be it's time to cut ties in the offseason.
Maybe. I think his age is probably catching up to him. He doesn't seem as quick off the ball. He always seems like he's kind of just like standing straight up and hand fighting with the it seems like he's always hand fighting with the tackle. It's never just like get up off your release or whatever, and then just swim or do some sort of move and get straight to the quarterback. He hasn't really been doing that lately. So I don't really know what the value is there. But if this is a pretty heavy draft in terms of defensive linemen, right? So if you get like a solid D tackle or D end in that first round, follow it up, maybe get an offensive lineman, start in the trenches and work your way out. I don't know if they like a player that's available within like the second or third round and they feel that he'd be the best fit on the defense. I'm not going to be opposed to it because really the defense can get help on all three levels. They have one solid player on each level, like one. And it's just, you got Nate Hobbs in the secondary, you got Denzel Perryman as the middle linebacker, and you got Max Crosby. And, I'll give Andrew Billings a little credit. I think he made some plays.
Yeah.
Bilal Nichols, Bilal Paul.
You love that name.
I do love Bilal Paul.
Just watching Georgia last night, they have a lot of impressive players on defense. And there's one guy, their defensive tackle, maybe Ernie knows his name, but I think it's Henry Jordan, I want to say. Just guys to look forward. I mean, like, I know draft time's a long way from now, but just watching not bowl games, but just watching the championship games last night in college football. Just impressive defensive players out there that could be ripe for the Raiders. As far as the Niners, as we switch gears here, they had a great defensive performance against the Saints, shutting them out 13-0. And I'm not really thinking that much about the offensive output. You and I talked about it last week, that it was such a hard week. They had to play on Monday night in Mexico City, and then go through the motions the rest of the week, and then get back and play a good defensive team in the Saints. But they suffer another injury with Elijah Mitchell, and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, so he'll be back potentially for the playoffs with an MCL injury. And McCaffrey's going to play today. Debo's going to play today. Trent Williams had a weird back injury that happened on Friday, so we'll see if he's a go today. But just your thoughts on the Niners and their defensive performance and how they gear up against the Miami Dolphins today.
Dude, it's just how they fly to the ball, man. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like when I'm watching other defenses, it's crazy because like it's not just the Raiders one that I'm talking about either. It's literally every other defense, as opposed to maybe a couple. But like Seattle's defense has actually been pretty good, except for that last week against the Raiders. But like as far as just them flying to the ball, like whoever has the ball in their hands, they just get right after it. Their corners, sometimes they get beat. Talanoa Hufanga is just unbelievable. Every single time somebody makes a tackle, there's always help. And they got those guys, that linebacking trio that they got. I mean, Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner, both of them are just unreal. Like they just got players at every level. And then it doesn't matter who they put up along the defensive line. Like I saw some crazy stat that like Charles Omenihu right now is kind of leading the team, I think, in pressures outside of Nick Bosa. Like this dude is getting to the quarterback. Then the guys up the middle, like Kevin Givens, he's just been making plays this year.
Wait, say his name one more time, Steven. That's leading the Niners in pressures.
Charles Omenihu.
Yeah. Who would have Amena knew?
Yeah. Yeah. Who else? Yeah, I know what you're trying to do there. But like they just got players, man. And that game against the Saints, I don't know. Andy Dalton's just an unimpressive quarterback. He's just such a whatever. I don't know if that's like the litmus test. Although with them, getting stops on Kamara and making him fumble the football, that was pretty damn good. As far as the offense goes, like Elijah Mitchell he just can't stay on the field. Like, love the guy, but it's been 2 years and he's had trouble. I think he missed like 6 games last year. He's missed the entirety really of this season. I'm very curious to see what happens though with Ty Davis Price and how they use him versus Jordan Mason as a backup. Because are we heading to like another Trey Sermon situation where they traded up to get this running back? And
I wouldn't say that. I think it's
I don't want to say that right now, but like it's on the same path. At least the start of Sermon's career, it's on the same path as what Ty Davis Price is going on right now.
Well, in the end, I think that it doesn't really matter in the sense that, I mean, Shanahan loves his running backs. He would love to have different, variations of the running game with different runners. But at the end of the day, they made a huge move to get Christian McCaffrey, and that's the guy they're going to run the most. Is your cat okay?
Yeah, she's in a box.
Hey, just like you, like father, like son.
Sorry,
daughter.
I was listening.
I mean, like they made this move to get McCaffrey to be the all-around Swiss Army knife of the offense.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that I wouldn't say that it's a Trey Sermon situation just because he hasn't seen the field. We'll see what happens with Jordan Mason and Ty Davis Price today, but McCaffrey's gonna get the bulk of the carries.
Yeah, he will, and he'll. I mean, I don't know. We're probably going to see like at the most maybe 4 or 5 for maybe Mason and Ty Davis Price. I don't know if those guys are getting like 10 carries between the two, then that means probably the 49ers have won.
Right.
Really, that's what it means. We might not see a situation today where they're having to utilize their run game so much and they get like 30 carries in total, and that's what gets them the win. Going up against Mike McDaniel, though, man, I am like, I'll just say it. I'm wearing this right now. I don't think I've ever said this. I am looking forward to this Niner game like far more than I'm looking forward to the Raider game.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And there's a lot of intrigue, obviously, with McDaniel going up against Kyle Shanahan.
This means a lot to me, okay? At a personal level, all right?
You love yourself some Mike McDaniel. Good Lord.
You have no idea. Like, I feel like it feels like I'm not going to say I discovered him because obviously I didn't. But, like, last year when I said on the air, and I said this we're going to be doing Mike McDaniel Thursdays, where we take some of the snippets from his interview and just play something from the intro, because he always says something hilarious. And I said, when this guy gets a head coaching job, he is going to take the league by storm. And right now he is 8-3, and the NFL can't stop sharing stuff about this guy.
Oh, I know.
I just love it. They did a whole they did the mic'd up segment earlier this week, the Game Day All Access. I watched it. I am so jealous of whichever NFL Films worker got to check out that footage and cut it. I am so jealous. I would have loved that job. That cracked me up. But also I'm fascinated, though. Fascinated with Shanahan, the run game, and how these two utilize it, and just how they're kind of the same offenses. They just got like different types of talent on their offense. I think Ted Nguyen put it perfectly. It's like the Dolphins right now, they're kind of using the same offense, but the Dolphins have speed, whereas the 49ers have like the yak guys. So it's going to be fascinating, I think, to watch what happens. And I think Armstead actually made it perfectly. Eric Armstead put it perfectly earlier this week, where he said at the beginning, it's going to be a little chess match for sure. But by the time the second half comes around, you'll make an adjustment in the first drive, but then after that, it's just going to come down to football, and it's going to come down to the players. So I'm really looking forward to at least the beginning of the game to see how these two do it.
And Eric Armstead back for the first time since that Monday night game against the Rams.
Yeah.
Do you like Mike McDaniel so much because you kind of see yourself in him as if you were a head coach?
I just think it's so refreshing to see a coach that's actually has like a sense of humor about things and is willing to just be loose on the field.
Yeah. Until he has to answer questions about Tua's health. But yes, I hear you. And I was fascinated by, I did not know the story about him and his, I guess, stepfather, where he was a Broncos fan growing up in Colorado, went to Broncos training camp, lost his hat, and had the video coordinator of the Broncos give him a new hat. And then Mike McDaniel introduced the coach to his mother. And then they fell in love and got married. And that's how Mike McDaniel became the ball boy and met Mike Shanahan, then became friends with Kyle Shanahan. It's a fascinating story.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Like, I don't know. And then his path to getting there too. It's like this dude just like sat there like a South Park character in World of Warcraft, just sat back there like on a mouse watching film just for hours on end, not showering, just like studying tape and seeing this stuff and learning this stuff. And he's super smart too. So I'm fascinated by the guy, man. I just think it's so interesting that he becomes an NFL head coach. It's kind of like, kind of similar to like Eric Spoelstra, video coordinator.
Oh yeah, a little bit. And yeah, I mean, it was interesting listening to Kyle Shanahan this week just talk about how, his humor kind of gets people motivated, but at the same time can rub people the wrong way. But just the whole message this week of Kyle was, just be like, I always enjoy coaches that are themselves. You can't be phony because players will not, take you seriously. And that's why Mike McDaniel has really kind of gotten the best out of Tua. Like, I've heard the comparisons. Brian Flores, I hope he gets another head coaching job, but he was a stern hard ass.
Yeah.
And talking to Tua, you could tell Tua was not happy.
Right.
And now Tua can be himself, and it's more kind of loosey-goosey, but also, you got to win.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Mike McDaniel has done a fantastic job with the Dolphins. And also going back to that story about his stepdad and everything, I can't imagine, like, him losing the hat, then the guy getting him the hat, and just being like, okay, thanks, kid, or thanks, mister. Thanks for giving me the hat. Oh, your mom, she looks pretty good over there. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the hat. Can I talk to your mom? What? It just turns like some weird thing. We're like, no, I just wanted the hat. Now you're going to go out with my mom? This is weird.
Yeah, I can picture that. No, and then the Tua thing too. It's like he had Nick Saban as a head coach before that, so it's a little different for sure. And I think that, I don't know, a lot of these guys from the 49ers organization are just really likable dudes on the field. Like D'Amico Ryan's probably going to get a head coaching job next year. More than likely going to actually, it's 100% that he's going to get a head coaching job next year. He's done it.
I mean, he deserves it, Steven, but nothing's certain in this NFL anymore as far as head coaches.
I think he's going to get. I think he's going to get. Something.
I think so too. I hope he gets a coaching job. I'm like, it would suck if Lovie Smith got fired after one season, but it seems like it's going in that direction. I think the best spot for D'Amico Ryans is with the Houston Texans.
Yeah, probably. But the funny part is about that mic'd up thing. They also had Robert Saleh on that too. And
did they?
he's a very likable individual
Oh
as well.
yeah.
Like he's just super friendly and just like really loves his players and loves football and loves when they play well. It's great.
Speaking of which, you know who is a really, I guess a guy that everybody likes on the Jets now?
Mike White.
Mike White. If you saw the video of everyone wearing a T-shirt of Mike White of the Jets team going to Minnesota, I don't know how Zach Wilson gets his job back, because it's one thing to be benched, but it's another thing when the whole team rallies around the other guy, and that's kind of telling to me. I don't know. Steve Young actually came on Tobin and Copes this week and said that he talked to Zach Wilson after he made the comments about
BYU.
Yep, BYU. And he talked to Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson told him, yeah, the reason I said I don't, owe anything to the defense was just because I was trying to get off the podium. I didn't really want to talk anymore. And then Steve was like, no, you can't do that. Don't you know what you've done? So I don't know if that comment alone has rubbed the whole team the wrong way, but it's going to be difficult for the Jets to go back to Zach Wilson at this point. But who knows?
Yeah, well, who are they playing this week? I haven't even
They're playing the Vikings. We got a great I'll be completely honest. This year of football has not been fantastic. There's been some good teams, there's been some disappointing teams, and there's been some crappy games.
Nah, this is a good week. This is a good slate of games.
Today's slate is very good. I'll get to it in a little bit here. But just to go, you're talking about how the job that Mike McDaniel's done with the Dolphins, and they're 8-3, and they've done a good job. However, have you seen their schedule coming up?
No.
All right. So we might be changing our tune about the Dolphins pretty soon here. So let's just say that they lose today against the Niners. Then they go on the road to face the LA Chargers. Then the week after that, they go to Buffalo. So 3 weeks in a row, this Dolphin team will play the Niners, the Chargers, and the Bills. Then Christmas Day, they play the Packers. Yes, the Packers aren't the same team, but it's always tough playing Aaron Rodgers. Then they go to New England, and then they finish the season out against the Jets. So while the Dolphins are doing fantastic right now, I would not be the least bit surprised if they go on a losing streak here and potentially miss the playoffs.
Well, you know what? You also thought the Raiders were going to go 14-3 on the season. So I don't know how to trust you when it comes to schedule watching and predicting future schedule games.
That's fair, but just listen to me as far as this schedule, Steven.
Yeah.
These next 3 games for the Dolphins are intense.
I hear you. No, they're very tough. They're very tough. And, the Bills on Thursday night just look like the Bills again, which was, everyone was kind of fooled for the past couple of games. Especially with that Lions game, with the Lions keeping it so close. But it's like, I don't know. Why does it always have to be an indictment on like the better team if that game's close? Like, why can't we just give credit to the team that was the underdog in that game for actually keeping it close instead of just saying like, oh, well, I don't know if the Bills are the same team. I mean, they almost lost to the Lions. It's like, how would you give credit to the Lions? They actually played a good game. Like,
Lions are playing well right now.
So like, I don't know that, but yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But you know what? This is what good teams do. They overcome schedules like that. So this for sure is the test. But you're saying you're not going to be surprised. You're saying that this is a test that they probably won't pass. This is one where they're probably going to get like a 60%.
I think it's going to be tough. I think that playing those 3 teams on the road, then home Christmas Day against the Packers is tough. Finishing up the season in New England, finishing up the season at home against the Jets, but second to last week of the season, you go to New England. I think it's going to be tough. I would not be the least bit surprised either way. I could see the Dolphins making the playoffs and being a wild card team, or missing the playoffs, and we're like, damn, Mike McDaniel and Tua had a rough stretch to the end of the season.
Yeah, and actually today, this game, it might not be as close as we even think. Like, Teron Armstead being out is huge.
Yes.
That is massive. So that's one where they're probably, I mean, you want to get this win against the Niners for sure. And that's probably why they were trying to rush him back from injury, but they probably made the decision like, look, we got these 3 really tough games on the road. Teron, we're going to need you for the rest of the season here. If we lose this game, okay, we're 8-4, but we can't lose after this. So that's probably why they made that decision. I think when he came out of the last game, I think Tua was sacked like 3 times or something. It could get ugly. Yeah. It could get really ugly.
We'll see what happens today, but yeah, this is the beginning of a rough stretch for the the Dolphins. Kind of like the Niners had a few years ago. Remember that 3-game stretch they had in 2019 where they had to go to New Orleans, then home against the Packers, then to Baltimore. I think that was the order. I could be
Yeah.
wrong there. But very similar like Jimmy Garoppolo faced in 2019. And we have some news today from Ian Rappaport about Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I wouldn't say this is breaking news or anything of the sort, but just something interesting that of course, will be a storyline this offseason, depending on how the Niners finish. But Ian Rappaport this morning with a story saying the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo are both open to his return next season under the right circumstances, sources say. A scenario that seemed unfathomable a few months ago. This is going to be something that we talk about in the long run. I don't think we need to talk about it now, but just the fact that we are discussing that Jimmy Garoppolo could return to the Niners is the scenario that I think a lot of fans are going to be conflicted about, because let's just say that they finish very well at the end of the season. Anything short of them winning the Super Bowl, I think, is grounds for Niner fans to be like, okay, let's make the change and go to Trey Lance. But Jimmy Garoppolo is having a pretty damn good season. Dare I say maybe even NFC Pro Bowl worthy? That may be a stretch. But if you look at the rest of the NFC as far as quarterbacks, I don't know, Kirk Cousins, Jalen Hurts, and then who else? Maybe Dak, but he missed 4 games.
Yeah.
So this is something that's going to be very interesting, I think, this offseason. And I think that you're going to have more suitors for Jimmy Garoppolo than ever. It's because of the craziness of last year's offseason with the quarterback carousel. I'm not sure you're going to get the same movement. But who the hell? What the hell do I know? Things always change, and things that I never thought would happen do happen, like Russell Wilson getting traded. So we shall see.
Dude,
But
I've been leaning toward like they're barring like a terrible end to this season and they possibly like don't make playoffs or something. Like I'd see them bringing him back. I absolutely do, but also depends on the money. He's setting himself up for a pretty good payday right now.
yes,
And toward the end of the season, like, I mean, who knows if he even wants to, if he even wants to stay with the 49ers. Does he? Like, nobody knows because he's just going to be nice no matter what. He's going to be nice guy Jimmy. So, like, like no one's really truly going to know where he wants to go, because wherever he goes, it's just going to be Mr. I'm happy here, but I'll be happy otherwise. Chuckle. I feel great, baby.
Well, you can't knock someone for being Mr. Nice Guy, since that was your moniker for so long.
Well, I know, and I'm a friendly individual, and that's where a positive attitude gets you places. But I think that I think it's almost a sure thing that they're bringing him back, though. Like, he's been playing so well within the offense. Like, it's going to be really hard, I think, just to go to Trey Lance. And I mean, man, it's the way that I've been thinking about it is it's almost on the track. And this is just me being forward thinking, like, this probably isn't true, but could be true. This is like a worst case scenario, but it's like, if Jimmy stays with this team, all right, well, you got him on the 3rd year of Trey Lance's contract, probably going to, if you're going to give him a contract extension, it's not just going to be a 2-year deal. It's probably going to be a 3 or 4-year deal. Like, what if he stays with this team and they kind of just admit without admitting that, hey, Trey Lance may be a good quarterback, but trading up 2 picks to get him, or trading 2 picks, 2 first rounders for the next couple of years to get him, I don't know if that was really worth it.
I don't think anyone's going to admit that, but they could handle this very similarly to the Packers with Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, where Jordan Love, and anyone that thinks that Jordan Love is just going to fill in the rest of the season for Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers runs that organization. It could just be that they realize Trey Lance needs a lot more time. And we don't have to admit anything, and we don't have to say that he's not going to be the quarterback of this team going forward. But we were wrong about Jimmy, and the best option is to keep playing him. If he did re-sign with the Niners, I wouldn't think it would be very long. I think maybe be a 2-year deal, to be honest. But we shall see. This is why we keep playing games, and this is why things will get very interesting as far as the future of the 49ers.
Yeah, all it's going to take really is like a 2-interception game from Jimmy, and then all fans are going to be pointing to Trey Lance for next season. All right, don't re-sign this guy. Let's go. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs. If they still make it, I think they very well will, and I think that they could be NFC West champions. Just interesting to see how he plays against the likes of the Vikings and the Eagles if they get there.
Yeah.
Before we pick our this week's slate of games, and damn it, I forgot again to get hot sauce. You beat me, Steven, once again. You are better at me than picking games this season because the point spreads and the over-unders are more your forte. So you're doing a fantastic job at that.
Thanks, man. Not so much in my regular pool though. I'm 9th out of 20 in my pool because I make these picks before,
Yeah.
and I kind of just like use that as my thing here. And sometimes I might switch because they only use the original point spreads from earlier in the week, like the first point spreads that are available. So they don't account for the changes. So I sometimes might configure my pick, which turns out to be the wrong, which it turns out I should do on this pool too, because I'm 9th right now out of 20. Not very good at this.
Well, how you doing in the Tickle My Butthole Fantasy League? Are you still in the playoff race that I have been eliminated from?
Yes. Yeah, you haven't paid attention, have you?
No, I am more focused in my other leagues. Doing well in the KNBR league and doing well in Tom Tolbert's league.
Wow, I'm actually right on the edge. Now I'm 7-5. I think I'm on a 4-game losing streak.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice. You're the future Dolphins.
Yeah. I'm heading to it. Damn. Oh man.
Get your shit together.
I kind of stopped paying attention too because I was just killing it. But now, damn.
Yeah, that's what cockiness will do to you, Steven.
I'm 5th in I'm 2nd in one of the leagues, which is good. And I'm playing Cody this week in that one. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
Cody, any good at fantasy football?
Let me check. Team. He's 7th. He's 5-7 right now. And Ernie, thank you. What about the 95-7 league? Yeah, that one I was dominating until recently. Now I'm 5th. Yeah, I was 1st for a very long time, and now I'm 5th. But to be honest, though, the first 4 teams are 8-4, and I'm 7-5. So there's plenty of it's gonna be a hectic end of the season here.
You got time. All right. Before let's pick our games now, and then I'll ask you a question to end the podcast.
Well, I gotta I'm gonna bring back an old friend for this at the end of the podcast. So we'll pick the games, and I'm gonna bring back an old friend.
An old friend, you say, huh?
Yeah.
Live?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. All right then. Well, I'm excited for that. But before then, let's do what we do every week. Let's do a little something we call wins or wangs. All right, Steven. Week 13, actually a really good slate of games. We got a ton of games featuring teams that are above 500, and a lot of them are not playoff teams from a year ago. It all started Thursday night with the Bills and Patriots as the Bills won 24-10, and the Bills look like they're in the right spot again. I think I lost that one to Alon. What did Alon pick? Alon, we picked the same thing. Wait, Alon took the Pats. Never mind. I beat Alon. There you go. All right, moving on to this week's slate of games, Week 13, and we start with the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-point favorites, and the over-under is at 42.5.
This is a tough one as far as the over-under. I am going to go with the Falcons on this one. I'm going to pick the Falcons.
Ooh.
Because they've been good against the spread at home this season. But the over-under is tough with this. I'm just going to go over because I think the Pittsburgh offense can at least put up some points, and so can the Falcons offense. So that's what I'm going to go with.
I'm going to go the complete opposite direction. I like what I saw from the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday night, and I think they're going to go into Atlanta and win. I'm taking the Steelers, I'm taking the points, but I'm going under, as I think their defense will hold the Dirty Birds.
Stop it.
Then we go, I will not stop it. Then we go to Detroit. Jacksonville at the Lions. Jameson Williams coming back actually making his debut for the Lions today. He was the rookie from Alabama that tore his ACL a year ago in the, I want to say the title game, and is going to make his debut today. and the Lions are 1-point favorites, and the over/under is at 51.
Gosh, hang on. I'm sorry. Sorry. Hang on. Good
What are
Lord.
you playing?
Sorry. I had a link open and the video randomly started playing. So I actually think the Jags are going to be riding high off that game against the Ravens last week.
Great win.
Yeah. Although I don't know what the hell the Ravens were doing on. I don't know what the hell the Ravens were doing on defense. That was unbelievable. They were just letting everything happen. Although Lawrence made some great throws.
Yeah.
But I think the Jags are going to be riding high on this one. I think they're going to go into Detroit and win. And I am absolutely going to take the over because
should.
I am not taking an under on the Lions anymore. Nope.
By the way, currently, I don't know if you were watching college football yesterday, Steven, but some big upsets as USC lost and TCU lost. So once they're doing it right now, excuse me, once the college football playoff is announced, I will break it and tell you the 4 teams. But as far as the rest of these NFL games, another return today, and it's Steven's favorite quarterback. Deshaun Watson comes back to play. I'm kidding. To come to Houston.
Who was your pick for the Lions, Jax?
Oh, I didn't even pick anyone. I'm sorry. Detroit. I'm taking Detroit to win. I'm taking the points. I'm going over. Now back to Steven's favorite quarterback, Deshaun Watson. So we all know what's going on with Deshaun Watson, and kind of a weird situation this week as he decided to not answer any questions about his past transgressions. Nevertheless, he's making his debut for the Browns today against his former team, the Houston Texans. That won't be awkward at all. And not to mention the fact that some of the accusers will be up in his suite watching the game. Fantastic. So the Browns go to Houston, and the Browns are 5-point favorites, and the over/under is 46.5.
Joel.
God. Deshaun Weinstein. Definitely a nickname.
I'll take the Texans to cover. I'll take the Browns to win, and I'm going to. I'll take the under.
This will be a great game for the Texans to win, but I don't see it happening just because of the talent that the Browns have. So I'm going to take the Browns. I'm going to take the points, but I'm going to go under because the Texans offense, I think Kyle Allen's playing again for the Texans. So, yeah,
Yikes.
Browns get the win, unfortunately, and I hope Deshaun Watson gets booed. Then we got the Packers up against the Chicago Bears, and Aaron Rodgers is going to play, and it sounds like Justin Fields is going to play. And the Packers are 4-point favorites, and the over/under is at 45.
Yeah, I'm feeling the Packers on this one. I'm feeling a comeback. I think the Packers are going to win. I'm going. What was the point spread you had?
4.
Yeah, 4. I'm going to lay the points with them. I actually think they're going to really beat the crap out of the Bears here. Ooh. And the fact that Mike White just put up that amount on the Bears defense, like I don't care about the throws anymore. It's Mike White. So I think Aaron Rodgers is still going to own the Chicago Bears. This is the last time they're playing each other, if I'm not mistaken, this season, right? They already played each other once.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think
unless they mean the playoffs.
I think this is going to be a big matchup for him. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers. I'm gonna lay the points, and then I'll take the over.
All right, I'm gonna do the same because I was kind of impressed with what the Packers did last week against the Eagles. Then we got the Denver Broncos at the Baltimore Ravens.
Lay the points with the Ravens. Take the over.
All right then. Do you not want to hear the rest of the point spread and everything, or the Broncos that?
You keep going. You keep going. That's just already my pick.
Well,
what the spread is.
The Broncos are having a rough week. Or should I just say Russell Wilson? He got yelled at by who's it? Mike Pennell, I want to say, for the defensive tackle, or Mike.
Oh yeah.
He got yelled at. Everyone's saying like, "Oh, did he say Broncos country, let's ride?" And that was one too many.
Okay, so you know what? Can I just ask you right now? Like, I mean, this might go down as one of like the worst trades of all time.
I'm not ready to call that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The picks, the players.
I know.
Gave up for that.
Not to mention Russell Wilson having his birthday this week, and half the team showed up. Like a Bo Callahan situation in draft day.
Like this is. I'll say this. You know what? not going to be as bad as the Herschel Walker trade, because that one they just like pretty much built the entire Dallas team with that to win the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to say it's as bad as that one, but this is damn close. This is bad, dude.
Yeah, it's bad, and considering everything that's going on with Russell Wilson, I mean, this is the most that his character's ever been made fun of. Like, everyone's coming after him. Kind of feel bad. Just he's playing like crap, and his commercials are crap. And yeah, Nathaniel Hackett's probably gonna get fired. But he, they're not gonna get rid of Russell Wilson. He won't be the scapegoat. He's gonna be there for the foreseeable future. So let's see if he improves. But you're right, Steven. I don't think any team has been as bad as the Denver Broncos as far as expectations and what the reality is. And not to mention, the promotion for this game from the Denver Broncos on Twitter is Lamar Jackson versus Josie Jewell, their linebacker. So there you go. As far as the point spread, the Ravens are 9.5-point favorites, and the over-under is at 40. Steven, you're taking the Ravens to lay the points, and you're taking the over?
Yeah.
Okay. 9.5's a lot. I still think the Broncos have a pretty good defense. Not that I'm going to think that they're going to put any points up, because they haven't done it all season long.
Right.
But I'm going to take the Ravens. However, I'm going to take the Broncos to cover, and I will go under.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, you're probably taking the good one there. Hang on. I got real quick, one more thing. Just got to look. Yeah, this was okay, never mind. This wasn't a situation here in the last game where if they would have scored more than 19 points, then they would have won.
Yeah, they lost. But hey, Russell Wilson got his 300th touchdown pass, so yay.
There you go. What an achievement.
Then we got one of the first games on this docket to feature two teams above 500. You got the Washington Commies going to the Giants, who are on a 2-game skid. The Commies are 2.5-point favorites, surprisingly, and the over/under is at 40.5. Steven?
Yeah, I'm actually going to. I think the Commanders are riding high right now, and I think momentum is real. I think the Giants. There's something up with that team right now. I don't know what it is, but did you see Taylor Heineke? By the way, the outfit.
What was he rocking?
He's got the Peaky Blinders, Tommy Shelby outfit going on. So I'm never going to bet against that guy. So,
that's when people tweet out, "What Commanders by 1,000,000 today?"
100%. Yeah, I think the Commanders are riding high right now. It may not be a popular pick, but I'm going to lay the points with the Commanders. And and as far as the over/under, I might take the under on this one. I don't know if it's going to be a very high scoring game.
Okay.
These two defenses are pretty damn good. So
just for that reason alone, I'm going to take the Giants today. I think that the Giants have a week to prepare, or more than a week to prepare for this game. And they still have a pretty good defense. They just got to get things worked a little bit with their, passing game. Still running very well with Saquon Barkley. I'm taking the Giants to win, and I'm going to go over on the 40.5.
Interesting. All right.
Then we got another good game today with the New York Jets and Mike White, the White Lotus, going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, and the Vikings are 3-point favorites, and the over/under is at 44 points.
What
the hell was that?
You seen the White Lotus?
I've not, actually.
That's their theme song.
Is it a good show?
It's fantastic.
The only reason I say that is because the show was created by Mike White.
Yeah.
Of course, Ned Schneebly from School of Rock.
Ned Schneebly. But sorry. Yeah.
Cat?
No, Jesse heard that.
Oh, did you wake her up?
Maybe.
I thought you were doing The Godfather there for a second. Anyway, loud noises aside, Steven.
Yeah, sorry. Jets, Vikings. What was it? 3-point favorite?
Yes, the Vikings are 3-point favorites, and the over/under is at 44.
44, yeah. I'm going to lay the points with the Vikes. I think they're going to really crush them. But, and you know what? I'll take the over. I'm
going to take the over as well. And, even though I think the Jets may get pounded today, I still like Mike White. I like him going forward. Had some good throws against the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, are we heading to Zach Wilson, like one of the worst draft picks of all time, with how high that?
Not yet. My expectation is that if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't become a Jet next season, I would say that training camp is going to be an open competition between Zach Wilson and Mike White. But let's see where the season ends.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Then we got a really good game as it's called the AJ Brown Bowl, as his former team, the Titans, come to Philadelphia to take on his new team. And Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle rookie for the Philadelphia Eagles, will be back today. So we'll see how much playing time Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph get. But the Eagles are 4.5-point favorites, and the over-under is at 44. And Chauncey Gardner out for 4 weeks with a lacerated kidney. So there still is some problems on the defensive side of the Eagles, but that's your point spread for this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles to win, but I'll take the Titans to cover.
Okay.
I think they could cover that 4.5, and the over/under is tough with this one, but I'm going to go with the over.
I think that this very well could be a game the Titans win, but I have not been impressed with the Titans' offense, and I think the Eagles can muster up enough points to win today's game. So I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to take the points, and I'm going to go over, honestly. So there you go.
Fair enough.
Then we got the Seattle Seahawks going to the Rams, and the Rams kind of have, if any team has packed it in already this season, it's probably the Rams. Matthew Stafford is on IR with 4 games. He's going to be out, and you would assume at that point he's not going to play the rest of the season. So you got John Wolford mixed in with Bryce Perkins playing today against the Seahawks, who are coming off a loss to the Raiders. The Seahawks are 6.5-point favorites, and the over/under is at 41.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with the Hawks, especially if they're 6.5-point. Damn, they opened
Those
up.
Hawks.
They opened up at 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, they opened up at 8.5. So clearly the money was coming in on the Rams, but also Aaron Donald not going to be playing either.
That's true.
And the Rams have just been terrible against the spread. I think the Seahawks are going to. I think they're going to really want to come back from that game last week. Probably feeling like they should have won it. I think they're going to win. And you know what? Just give me the over. I think this could come down to the Seahawks scoring a lot of points, then the Rams kind of scoring some garbage time to let the over hit.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Seahawks to win. I'm going to lay the points, but I'm going to go under just because I don't see a lot of offense coming from the Rams today. So, and the Rams defense is actually playing pretty well this season, given the circumstances. Then we got the Chargers going to the Raiders. And once again, despite their record, the Raiders are 2.5-point favorites, and the over-under is at 49.5. Mike Williams not going to play today for the Chargers. Josh Jacobs most likely will.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take the Raiders to win, but I'll take the Chargers to cover. I bet you this is one of those close 1-point games.
That's a hell of a cover, Jesus.
I know, right? Yeah, that's how confident I am that this is going to be like one of those games.
Okay,
just one of those games. So yeah, we'll do that.
Well, I mean, hey, you got the backwards hat and everything, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it just needs to be fitted. So that's the issue with it being strapped. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers to cover that one. What was the spread again?
2.5, and the over/under is 49.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it that close, and then I'll take the over.
2.5 is a little too close to my liking. I'm gonna take the Raiders to win, but I'm gonna lay the points, and I'll take the over. Then we got the Miami Dolphins at the San Francisco 49ers. The Mike McDaniel, Kyle Shanahan reunion. Also a reunion for Raheem Mostert, who made some interesting comments, but then kind of backtracked on KNBR this week. And then Jeff Wilson coming back to the Bay Area. The Niners are 4.5-point favorites, and the over/under is at 45.5.
Yeah, give me the over. Dude, I actually, you know what? Give me the under. I don't think this is going to be as crazy of an offensive explosion as we think. I think Tua's going to be. I think Tua's running for his life a lot of this game. Teron Armstead not playing is just so massive. Austin Jackson, another offensive lineman, out. Like, they don't have much depth there. And I think the Niners are going to win. They're on too much of a roll right now. They're riding high on this momentum. They're going to be at home. They always play really well at Levi Stadium. Doesn't look like it's going to rain too much. And, you know, the Dolphins defense is pretty good. So I'm going to take the under, but I'm also going to lay the points with the Niners.
I'm going to do the same thing. I think with the tackle situation today, not only are they missing Teron Armstead, they're going to miss Austin Jackson, their right tackle in Miami. So that'll be tough. And also, Trent Williams may not play today for the Niners. So I don't think it's going to be an offensive explosion. as both teams are very familiar with each other. But yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Might not play.
He hurt his back, but
What?
Kyle on Friday.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, and Kyle kind of downplayed it and said that it was kind of big man problems. So we will see if he plays.
Did he give an update on Debo too?
Debo is most likely going to play today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The quad issue. I think that's something that's going to be something to monitor at the end. Like Debo's huge in those playoff games when you just need a thumper on offense who just when you need a player you can just get the ball into his hands and he can make plays. Kind of worrisome that McCaffrey's had that knee irritation. Because we've seen what knee irritation can turn into. It can turn into like fluid, and you have to empty that fluid and all that sort of stuff. Debo, it seems like he hurts his hamstring every single game, almost. So this is going to be an interesting one, man.
That was a live text. That was a loud text message. Jesus.
All right, that wasn't a text. That was a screen time making its presence felt. The screen time, thing. Screen time average.
Just too much screen time for you?
No, like the weekly screen report thing. Don't you get that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, looks like I'm down 22%. So
yeah, good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, Steven, I'm gonna do the same. Yeah, Niners points under. And then we got a rematch of the AFC Championship game as the Chiefs go into Cincinnati, the jungle, where Ja'Marr Chase will return, and the Chiefs are 2-point favorites, and the over-under is at 53.
I'm going to take the Bengals for the upset. I think the Bengals going to upset them. I think it's going to be an over game. Ja'Marr Chase coming back is huge. I don't care that he's been out for a few weeks. Him and Joe Burrow, they're going to click like that. I think the Bengals upset them in a shootout. I think it's going to be a fantastic game.
Laying the points?
Well, it's an upset, so there's no way.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Never mind. Then, yeah, over. All right, I'm with you. I am going to take the Bengals to win. Is it really that much of an upset? They've beaten the Chiefs 2 times in a row already. But, yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are playing very well this season. So I'm taking the Bengals to win with the return of Ja'Marr Chase. But 53 is a lot to me. And I remember earlier this year, everyone was saying take the over with the Bills and Chiefs, and that game went under. So I just don't think they're gonna score a lot of points today, but I don't know if it's gonna be 53 worth. I'm taking the under.
All right.
I like them apples. And then we got the Sunday night game, the Indianapolis Colts at the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys are 10.5-point favorites, and the over-under is at 44.5.
God, it's a large chunk of points there, but I think the Cowboys can absolutely destroy them. I'll lay the points with the Cowboys. I'm not afraid to do it. I'll lay the points with the Cowboys, and I'll take the over. I'm not afraid to do it.
Okay, all right, jeez. I'm afraid. I am going to take the Cowboys, but I think the Colts cover, and I think it's going to be an under game. And then last but not least, maybe least, we got the Saints at the Buccaneers. The Bucs are 3.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 40.5.
Yeah, I don't even know with this game. I'll lay the points with the Bucs and then take the under. I don't know what to really look forward to here.
That's what I'm doing as well. So there you go. There are picks for this Week 13 slate of games. It looks like they're about to announce the teams for the CFP, so as soon as that's announced, I will tell you. But, Steven, you have an old friend returning to the show?
Yeah, I have an old friend, and the old friend is we watch a trailer.
Wait. Is this what I think it is?
Probably.
Because this is probably yep, Cocaine Bear.
We're watching it.
All right.
Medic! Oh, Jesus. What is that?
Beth, we should go.
Millions of dollars worth of cocaine fell from the sky this morning in Knoxville, Tennessee.
There's more of this out there. They dumped it somewhere.
I'm looking for my daughter.
The forest is a dangerous place.
Hey, Henry, check it out. Something got into it. A deer, maybe.
A lot of cocaine was lost. I need you to go and get it.
No, don't eat that. Don't eat that. Let's see what kind of effect that has on
The bear. It fucking did cocaine. A bear did cocaine.
There was a bear.
A bear?
It was far.
Hey, that's inappropriate.
You're safe. Bears can't climb trees.
Of course I can.
baby.
Oh, shit.
Get higher, baby.
It kind of seems like the thing that stays with a man forever.
Apex predator. High on cocaine. Out of his mind. Oh man, you fucked.
What the fuck is wrong with that bear?
Shoot it, man.
Bear, speed up!
Get higher, baby. And don't ever come down.
We have such good luck in nature.
Oh my gosh.
I am very, very excited for Cocaine Bear.
That is going to be insane. And yes, Joel, it is that guy who makes the retail customer service TikToks. Yes. Yeah. The guy with the mustache, paramedic. You've never seen those, huh?
No.
He does the thing. He does the thing where
Steven, don't try to make it seem like I know what you're talking about with TikToks. I don't.
It's really funny.
I just no. But he looks funny in this, and this looks like a ridiculous movie. Ray Liotta, last movie before he died.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks, I think, directed this movie. So it's based on a true story, but obviously a bear didn't do cocaine and then kill everybody. But they've taken some liberties.
O'Shea Jackson getting big too.
Yeah, got a little big, and I think he's right for. I've always wanted to do a Raiders miniseries, and I always thought he'd be great as Gene Upshaw, and he looks like he's in the right position to play Gene Upshaw.
Gonna call him Ice Block.
There you go. But yeah, Cocaine Bear. When does that come out? February
24th.
Okay,
Can't wait.
That looks like a fun time. And I guess Bullet Train's on Netflix. I'm gonna watch that later tonight. Is that fun too?
See, Ernie knows. Ernie knows this guy's funny. He does funny things. It's okay for social media people to actually be funny, and he is.
No, they're all just lazy, and they got fame at a cheap price.
He's like a stand-up comedian now.
Stop it, Steven. Even though we're doing this on Twitter.
And he's in a movie.
Breaking news. So, college football playoff. Everyone thought with TCU losing that it would be Ohio State.
No one really knows what's happening with college football. But anyway, keep going. Not everyone.
Okay. Everyone thought with TCU losing and USC losing that it would be Michigan versus Ohio State and Georgia versus Alabama. And Nick Saban went on the halftime show of the Big Ten Championship of Purdue and Michigan last night to lobby for his Alabama Crimson Tide. And it was denied. TCU survives. Despite the loss yesterday, they're still going to remain in the college football playoff. They are the 3rd seed, and Ohio State Buckeyes are 4. So it'll be Georgia versus Ohio State and Michigan versus TCU.
So what do you think of them moving to 12 teams?
I think that's needed.
I absolutely think it's needed because
I'm tired of all this debate and all this lobbying and like, well, this team, common opponent, blah, blah, blah. Just whatever. Put them all in.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like 4 teams out of all these college football teams who are fantastic. Like, you got to expand that playoff team. You got to expand the amount of playoff teams there. So them going 4 to 12 is absolutely the right move. And when they say 2024, they mean next year, right? Like, because
I think the following season.
Oh, the following, because those games are played on like New Year's. So I figured 2024.
Yeah, there's something up with the Rose Bowl. I actually didn't look that much into the story, but there's something about the Rose Bowl's up for bid or something as far as being part of the college football playoff or something.
No, they came to an agreement earlier this week.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah. So like they said that it's pretty much imminent now that they're going to announce the playoff expansion in 2020 for 2024 and 2025.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just get confused with the years because, like, especially in football, for example, I always say the Super Bowl run for the Niners in 2019. And it's like, well, they really made their Super Bowl run in 2020, if you want to look at it.
I know, but I always say the year of the season.
For sure.
That's the one that screws me up is basketball because the season starts one year and falls into the other. I usually go the year that they win the championship as far as basketball.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I never really know.
It is weird. It is weird. So there you go. There is your college football playoff. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoys the games today. Before we get out of here, there will be winter meetings this week for Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a big name free agent that has had big rumors. And actually, the Vegas favorite right now is for Aaron Judge to sign with the San Francisco Giants. So, Stephen, before we get out of here, there are two big free agents that are set to sign this week. We don't know about Aaron Judge. Baseball free agency is very weird. It could happen during the winter meetings. It could happen in March. Who the hell knows? But let's just say for the purposes of this podcast, and you're going to be joining us actually this Wednesday for the midweek show.
Mm-hmm.
So glad to have you. But we'll revisit this then. But if for whatever reason this breaks before then, where do you see Aaron Judge signing? If you had to predict it. And the years.
Oh, jeez.
Because right now the rumor is he'll get 9 years, possibly 10.
Yeah, I'd say 9 years. Probably 9 years is where we're going to be headed. I don't know. I think I think Scott Boras wants to make him the first $40 million man. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Like, can you imagine if they give him like 9 years? What would that be? 360 million, I think, if they were at 40 million. So I don't want to say the Giants right away, but it's trending in that direction, and Vegas knows stuff. But it depends, because really, if you're going to make the case for the team that gives you the better chance to win, which is ultimately what it comes down to. If you get the money, fine. But ultimately it comes down to winning. The Dodgers probably give them that better chance. But the Giants have all this sentimental stuff. Look, the one free agent I'm paying attention to, it's not Aaron Judge. Okay. It's not Judge. It's Kodai Senga. All right. Superstar pitcher, throws up to 102 miles an hour. Give me Kodai Senga. Will cost like $10 million a year. I think he's looking for like a 5-year deal. Yeah.
Don't you want a Senga?
I want Senga.
There you go.
Yeah.
Senga. Sega.
But a decision's going to be made probably at the end of the meetings, which is the 7th. So, yeah, I think Aaron Judge is a very real possibility for the Giants. That'd be crazy if he does. Like, that's huge.
You know, our good buddy John Morosi has gone back and forth on this, where he says that it's down to two teams, the Yankees and the Giants. It's 50-50 at this point. But the Giants need to prove that they're going to be all in on winning this year. And I don't know how they prove that before signing Judge. Like, you can't just sign guys and be like, well, we proved it. Now comes joining us. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I could believe that Aaron Judge wants to come home and the sentimental value of everything for playing for the Giants. At the same time, I can see the Yankees ponying up the most cash. If I had to guess right now, I think that the appeal of the Yankees and them possibly making him a captain could go a long way. But who the hell knows? I would say I'm leaning Yankees. I would not be the least bit surprised, though, if the Giants end up signing him.
Yeah, I don't see him staying with the Yankees, man. I just don't.
Right.
Of course, he wants more money, and he could be using these other teams as leverage, whatever. But I don't see them, like, I just don't see him wanting to go back to New York. Like, I just don't. He's been there forever. They haven't won anything ever since he's been there. And they've had the opportunities to win. I don't know. It might not even be the best choice for him, honestly, to go to San Francisco because of the whole home run thing. But, like, I just don't see him wanting to stay back with the Yankees. He hasn't really made it, like, clear. Yeah, I want to stay here. Like, I want to be here. This is up to them. I just don't think he does. And you never know. How effective is Curry lobbying? I don't know, man. That's kind of weird that Curry's a Red Sox fan too, by the way. I didn't know that.
Listen, it's one thing to get Curry lobbying, but it's another thing when you get Chris Mullin lobbying on Warriors pregame. Hey, Aaron Judge, here's what you do. You got the Brooklyn chants. in New York. Forget all that. You come home to the Bay Area. I mean, I know that you passed Lou Gehrig's record, but hey, it's all good. You come back home and you play for the Giants. I love that Chris Mullin got that wrong. Lou Gehrig's record.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, they're all the same. Lou Gehrig had some disease. Who cares? Come home, Judge.
But I'm not going to be, but I won't be feeling too great if they don't sign him. Like, as far as like the not keeping a player and paying him $40 million for the next 8 years, a guy who hasn't been able to stay on the field every single year, who's not always known to be the most durable. Like, I wouldn't be super mad at it, but I also think like if you can't get Aaron Judge, it seems like like you got the money, no players out of the financial capability, and you're saying you won't be outbid. Like president of baseball, like they don't say that, right? Especially Farhan. You got the hometown team thing. That's huge. Growing up, play for your. Oh my God, I get to play for the team that Rich Aurilia played for. You know that.
By the way, Richie did not confirm nor deny that he was at the meeting.
He absolutely was at the meeting. If he wasn't, that'd be so dumb. If he wasn't at the meeting, like if you don't get Rich at that meeting,
hey man, Rich has got some wine to sell. He's an important guy. He's got places to be.
He might be, but the dude's also a pre and post game analyst. I think you could get him for a day, for a random Tuesday during the middle of the week in November.
Hey man, there's some days I can't book Rich Aurilia on the phone.
Yeah, but it's a radio interview. This is Aaron Judge that we're talking about, Derek.
Yeah.
Like it's just all signs are pointing towards it. It's just if you can't sign this guy, then it's going to be hard for me to think in the future that you can sign any big name free agent if one's available. And you don't always need to, but you kind of do need some stars eventually. And if you can't entice Aaron Judge now, it's like, who can you entice out of all these players? That's kind of where I'm at with that.
Come on, Judgy, come home. Forget Judge Judy. It's all about Aaron Judge. I just like doing the Chris Mullin voice.
Yeah, very good.
And another free agent that I think more likely than Aaron Judge will sign this week, Odell Beckham. Where's he going, Steven?
Nowhere, actually.
Oh.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Like, wasn't there that report that he's not even fully healthy and there's probably a chance that he can't even help a team?
Who said that? Florio?
I forgot who said that, but there's
I think it was Florio. Florio was suggesting that he doesn't even play this season and just rehabs and comes back next season. The money is not going to let him do that. There's some report out there that he wants to go back to the Giants because he wants to do that over again. No, I am not buying it.
If you had to choose, the Bills. Probably the Bills, in my opinion.
I think that'd be the smart move. I think at the end of the day, he goes to the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's either one.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, man. Well, that's our picks for this week, and that's our show for today. But Steven's going to join us on Wednesday, finally, for a midweek show where we can review the Raider game, the Niner game, and everything that happened in Week 13 of these NFL playoffs. So, yeah, we'll see you then. And probably be at 7:30 on Wednesday night. Hopefully I'm not tired, but I usually get tired at that time now. Steven, are you going to be Stanko?
What?
That's Italian for tired.
When?
Wednesday.
No, I'll be fine.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll hopefully have some Aaron Judge news by then. But until then, Steven, say what you always say, my friend.
It is judge our opinion, man.
Yeah.
It was good, right?
No.